Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Andrew, coming to you from the beautiful Carolinas. Today's topic is going to be when the narcissist faces a supply shock. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So, the narcissist needs supply. And what is supply? For those of you who don't know, it can be a pet, it can be a person, it can be a phone call, it can be hanging up on somebody, it can be making somebody wait. It can be sitting right next to somebody, zapping or stealing the energy away from them. It can be giving someone the silent treatment. It can be faking empathy. It can be faking support, faking love. Supply is virtually anything that matters to the narcissist. It's their fuel. And when the narcissist is without supply, this is not a good thing for them. This is like your oxygen. Now, does the narcissist need oxygen to breathe? Of course. But they need something else that you don't need. They need supply. And when the narcissist goes through a supply shock, and I will go back in time, when they do that, this is not a good thing for them. And it happens way more than you would ever imagine. Thinking that the narcissist is living their best life, and they're living a life of puppies and rainbows and unicorns and snickerdoodles and sunshine and Twinkies, that's not reality. It wasn't reality when you were with them. It's not reality now, and it certainly won't be reality for them in the future. Because the narcissist has a bottomless pit. They're always on a quest, looking to fill that pit, looking to fill that void that needs to be filled with supply. You by now know, or you're understanding, that no amount of attention, love, empathy, money, time, relationships, you patching up all of the cuts they were inflicting upon you in that relationship would matter, because it would never be enough for the narcissist. This is why they burn through people. This is why they're always getting the best thing for a period of time. Then they crumble it up and throw it away like a sheet of paper. And they think that the grass will always be greener and they can do better than the last person. Well, you now understand that you're the best thing that ever happened to them. And by now they probably know it too, but it's too late. The door is either closed or about to be closed on the narcissist. You have either gone no contact or you will, but you certainly, no matter how you cut it, you're getting the wisdom and you're applying the tools that I provide for you with each and every video, which means you're understanding now what narcissism is, how it affected you, and that this is the relationship you'll need to heal from. So as I mentioned a moment ago, you don't need supply. What you need is abundance. You need growth. You need Mother Nature. You need purpose. You need positivity. You need energy, direction. You need that 800-pound gorilla off of your shoulders, which was the narcissist and the narcissistic relationship. When you were in the relationship, that is the last thing you thought. You thought you needed them. You thought that you couldn't live without them. You thought, how could you go on without them? That they were everything in the world to you and more. Well, I thought the same thing until when? It's right, until I didn't, until I woke up, and until January 6, 2020 first happened. That's for a whole different video that if you've been following me for years, you probably know by now what happened that day. But having said that, that's when the world stopped for me personally. And that's when I practiced radical acceptance and began to understand that I was exactly where I was supposed to be. And I made it out of many dark areas, including the narcissistic relationship, including experiencing the dark night of the soul, including my personal experience on January 6, 2021, and so many more things. But back then, when I was in that trauma bond, back then when I was in the narcissistic fog, I was missing the dark energy. I was trying to understand what had happened to me. How come that person wasn't calling me or talking to me? How come they weren't giving me closure? How come they weren't answering the questions I had? How they could just end the relationship like that? Well, they could do it so effortlessly because they had sources of supply lined up, and they were waiting for a pivotal time during a pandemic, if you will, to drop the discard. That discard was coming one way or the other. And by now you must know that each and every narcissistic relationship has an expiration date. Mine was no different, and yours is no different, whether you think otherwise or not. But you don't need supply. What you need is peace and harmony. Hear the birds? That's what you need. You need calmness. You need togetherness. You need to be stoic and practice abundance and practice gratitude. These are all things the narcissist can't do. So the narcissist, again, I used the oxygen example earlier, they need supply as well. They need to matter. They need to live in people's minds rent-free. They need to keep people stuck in that narcissistic fog. They need to keep multiple people on the hook at any one time, giving them attention, giving them adoration, fawning all over them, answering their phone calls, being hung up on, lending them money only never to be repaid, giving them rides, doing more and more things for them. This is what these people want. What they want is they want the unpaid helper. What they want is they want the walking apology. They want the sounding board. They want the cook, the cleaner, the chauffeur, the pool boy. They want the person to raise the kids, to pay for bills, to keep a 9-to-5 job, to cook and to clean and to everything and more, and to turn a blind eye and look the other way, and to endure and not address the toxicity that they are experiencing. Now that's what you did. That's what I did. Again, you weren't taught this in school, so how could you know what you were up against? You didn't realize that another person could actually fake love, fake empathy, and fake that they cared, and fake that they were committed in a relationship with you. Now you're learning it, or you know it. Any way you look at it, this is when the narcissist will have a supply shock. So as I mentioned earlier, it's when not only when you go no contact, and truth be told, you are not as big of a piece of the puzzle as you may think. It's when other people do it along with you. Now you're the person I care about because you're here in the video and you're getting the wisdom, and this video is meant for you. And if you think this video could be utilized by another person that you know of, pay it forward. Send them the link and have them watch the video and hopefully get the wisdom. But the point being is you're one person and this is your life. So you need to A, go no contact. B, you need to get off the radar of these people. C, you need to realize they won't change. D, you need to understand that you are nothing but utility. You were nothing but an opportunity. You were nothing but supply to that person. Now that's a tough pill to swallow, because I know right now you're scratching your head saying, but wait, I loved them and I thought they loved me and I did so much for them and we had kids together and we bought all these houses and all these trips and fancy vacations and we did everything together. Well, I know you did, and I'm sure you did, but that person you're considering, they're toxic any way you cut it. You can put any label on them, you can call them whatever you want to. Truth is, you made it this far in the video, and if you did, it's for a reason. It's because you're craving the questions to be answered that you have that that person would never give you, because they wouldn't give you closure. They wouldn't be honest, they wouldn't introspect, they wouldn't be accountable, and they would never sit down and have the ability to have an adult conversation with you. What they would do is blame shift you. They would give you the silent treatment. They would play word salad with you. They would gaslight you. They would do anything but address real topics, real concerns. Think about this. How many intelligent conversations did you have with that person? How many? 1, 2, 3, 20? I don't know. But you didn't have as many as you thought you had. And anytime you talked with them or communicated with them, you A, had to dissect what they were saying. B, you had to read between the lines. C, they would never keep their word. And D, it was nothing but smoke and mirrors on their behalf, because they were keeping you stuck. They were keeping you trapped in that zombie-like, trance-like state. And they did know what they were doing. And they do know what they're doing right now. These people are ticking time bombs. They're sinking ships. And all they want to do is keep people trapped, because keeping people trapped does what for them? That's right. It gives them supply. Now think about this. Would you, on purpose, try to destroy another person's life? Of course you wouldn't. Would you tell somebody something that you wouldn't do, intentionally knowing that you weren't going to do it? No, you wouldn't. Do you keep your word, and are you honorable? Yes and yes. Are you a good person? Absolutely. You may even be an empath. I can tell you one thing, what you are is the polar opposite of that dark energy force, the narcissist. You're the polar opposite of them. And they were drawn to you like a moth to a flame. That's why you are, and I've shared this in thousands of videos over the year, you're what I call the beautiful, bright, shining light. And you shine higher than the sun, the moon, and the stars and everything in between, because you are a beautiful person inside and outside, and you're committed, you're resilient, you're courageous, and you're stronger than you know. And the toxic person knew this. Remember what I told you before, supply. So in this case, for this part of the video, supply is energy. I just shared with you, you're the beautiful, bright, shining light. What is beautiful, bright, shining light? That's energy. Think about it. That's what you are. And they try to capture you and extinguish you, or at the very least, burn you out. They try to go through you, just like they went through so many people before you. And those other people were either extinguished, sorry to say, but they probably were, or they were trapped and they never figured it out, or they didn't break the chains and they didn't put 2 and 2 together. But you're different. You're cut from a different cloth. That's why this person couldn't take you down. They took their best swings at you, and they took they took left crosses, right crosses, uppercuts, and body blows and everything in between. But guess what? You're still standing. You're here. They couldn't take you down for the count. Now, despite all these things I'm sharing with you, there will be a time in the future, and maybe it's happening now with that toxic person. Maybe it's going to happen tonight. Maybe it'll be over the weekend. Maybe it'll be in a couple weeks. I can't tell you when, and I actually don't care. But there will be a time when more and more people close avenues of communication to them, and that's when there will be a supply shock. As I mentioned earlier to you, if you were around during a certain period of time, in 5 years ago, you know what the year was, 2020, well, that's when the world stopped. And you understand that there was supply shocks back then for Clorox, for Wipies, for things to clean your hand, and Perel and all those kind of things, and food as well. Well, it's the same thing that happens with this toxic narcissist. They get a supply shock, but it's with human beings, it's with people. And this will happen over and over and over again. And they will claim that it doesn't affect them. They will claim they're fine and everything is going great. And they'll post pictures on social with 10,000 filters and their bike riding at the top of Mount Everest or Kilimanjaro, whatever these mountains are, I don't know. And they're at the hottest yoga class and they're traveling all over the world. Well, are they really doing those things? I can't tell you. It doesn't matter. No, it doesn't. Are these people fake and fraudulent? Yes and yes. Is there any substance or core to them? No and no. Do they care about anybody but themselves? No, they don't. Can they change? Absolutely not. So when the supply shock happens for them, it's akin to what happened years ago during that great reset, if you will, whatever you want to call it. It's when people finally wise up, they finally wake up and they close all avenues of communication to the toxic person. They want nothing to do with them. And they close the hatches, they batten down the hatches, and they seal them super glued tight. They go no contact, they block them, they delete them, they get off the radar, and they just flat out reach that pinnacle of indifference, the mountaintop of indifference, where they are flat out indifferent to that person, probably to other people by now. And that's when the supply shock will happen, because what these toxic people are used to doing is they're used to having access to multiple people at any time they want to, 24/7, via their smartphone, via their tablet, via their computer, via in person, via email, via phone call, whatever it is. And when those avenues are shut down, there is a supply shock. But again, what it will do for you when you go no contact, it will sting for a little while, and it will take some time to understand that it's for your best interest, or it's for your health, it's for your sanity, it's for your mind, it's for the rest of your life, and it's for you to heal properly. But after a little bit of time, or after some time, you realize it's the best thing you ever did, which is getting out of that relationship and healing properly. And as you heal, they get weaker. As they get weaker, you get stronger. As you get stronger, more and more clarity arrives in your mind. The clearer your mind gets, the less opportunity they have to zap your energy. And the less opportunity they have to zap your energy, the higher you elevate and ascend. Remember, I shared with you earlier, you're the beautiful, bright, shining light. You shine higher than the sun, the moon, and the stars, and everything in between. That's energy. That's supply to these people. When they don't have access to you, they have to look elsewhere. And where they will be looking is usually where they find themselves at the end of their life, or at the end of their period of time, which is in that low vibrational state, with people that are similar to them, people also that have abused other people, and people that are so broken and beaten down that they have nowhere else to turn to. That's why these people, i.e. the toxic people, they rot from the inside out. You never see it, because what you see when you're with them is you see the beautiful package, the human vehicle, or you see their charm or their intellect. You see what you see on this planet called Earth. You can't look within them until you get out of the relationship and you heal properly. Then you realize these people are rotten to the core, and they know it. That's why once you get the wisdom, you have to apply the tools, get off the radar of these people, let the supply shock happen, because it's happening whether you know it or not. And it's about to happen again over and over and over with that person, because these people never learn their lesson. They can't change, and they don't care. And they think the world is their oyster, and that they run and rule the world, and everyone else are just bit part or extras in their Hollywood little script. That's not reality. Reality is they had us where they wanted us. They peppered us with abuse. They thought they knocked us down for the count. They thought they extinguished us, but they failed, and they failed miserably, and they know it. That's why you really need to not tempt fate. Go no contact. If not now, when? So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning. No matter where you are on the planet, you are not alone. I love you all, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Understand a few things. One, this person you're considering, they will go through a supply shock. They've already done it hundreds of times. Yes, hundreds of times. You just didn't see it. Second thing is, when you finally go no contact and you block them, they will experience some kind of injury. Now, will it be big or small? I can't tell you. Maybe they'll look and laugh and say, oh, that person finally woke up. They finally got the message. They know who I am. Well, eventually what they will be doing, I'm talking about the toxic person down the road, they'll be scrolling through their phone on a Friday night when all these doors of communication have been closed to them, and they'll look for your name. And your name's nowhere to be found because you blocked them. You got a new phone number, and you've changed your whole life. And they will say, wow, that person, which is you, they're the one that got away. How did they do that? I have no idea how they did it. I did a masterclass in abuse, a masterclass in manipulation, and a masterclass in ruining their life. But they escaped. I don't know how they did it. But you know what? They won and I lost. And yes, that's what the toxic person will say in their tiny little pea brain, that they lost and that you got away. So that's the video. I love you all. God bless you. And I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Bye.